Now to our other top story tonight, the family of a St. Johns County teenager taking to the stand today at her killer's trial. Tristyn Bailey's parents and siblings gave very emotional victim impact statements today, part of the penalty phase of Aiden Fucci's murder trial. And we also heard for the first time from the convicted murderer's family, who offered an emotional apology in court. Our Jessica Clark is live tonight in St. Johns County. And Jess, this was a very difficult day of testimony in what is already a very difficult case.
Certainly was. It's certainly emotional today here in St. Johns County. There were several members of Tristyn's immediate family who gave their impact statements, their victim impact statements. But it all started off with one of her sisters starting to drop 114 stones into a glass. 114 stones representing the 114 times that Tristyn Bailey was stabbed to death. And then every family member who came up and spoke dropped another stone into that jar, representing what died for them when Tristyn died. It was really impactful. Some of them spoke directly to Aiden Fucci, some of them did not, but many of them discredited the apology that he gave last month in court. Her mother describing the house and how it's been hard to let Tristyn go.
The door to her room remains closed. It is exactly as she left it. Her bed is unmade. Her bath towel she used on May 8th is at the foot of her bed. The suitcase is still packed from the weekend before when we attended Summit with Infinity All-Star Cheer. I can't bear to change one thing.
For the first time, we also heard Aiden Fucci's relative speak. It was the maternal grandmother. She spoke in court this morning, and she also said she's surprised about what happened, that this is not the grandson that she knew.
He's always been such a good kid, and I don't even know where that came from. I mean, he doesn't have any bad in his family or around him, or I don't know. I can't explain. I just don't know.
She even apologized to Tristyn Bailey's family about all this. Fucci's behavior was also discussed. A dean from his school talked about how he had actually seen Fucci's behavior improve from the time he arrived at the school to the point in which he left. The defense also brought on a psychologist saying that he thought Fucci was not mature and that he could be rehabilitated in prison if given the right tools and the programs to go through. At this point, I'm going to bring in our legal analyst, Shannon Schott. Thank you so much. You've been watching this today as well. I want to ask you about these victim impact statements. Wow, they were really powerful. How much weight do they carry?
Absolutely. Victims have special rights under Florida law, under the Constitution, and they're very powerful and they're very impactful. And one of the considerations for the judge is the effect on the community. And we saw that illustrated through these victim impact statements.
So let's talk about that jar with the stones that were being dropped into it. I think it took 3 minutes for 114 stones to be dropped in. And what did you say? It was cringe?
It was cringe-worthy.
Yeah.
It was very cringy, but it was intended that way, right?
Yes.
Like a visual illustration of any quantity is very powerful when you're telling a story. And right now, the state is telling the story of the impact on this community.
And things like that can be used in court. I didn't know those visual devices could be allowed. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like
We call
that.
them demonstrative aids,
Okay.
and it was a demonstration of the pain and the suffering with each and every stab wound. So it was a very powerful tool. I would have made it larger, but it was very powerful.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, so, and then the sister who started it, she was dropping and she was counting each one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And at some point, for me, I just thought, every stab wound. This and again, because we've heard the number 114 throughout this entire case.
Correct.
to take the time to count up to that number was really something.
Right, and again, it's a great tool when you're telling a story of someone's life and of the impact, and I think the state and the family did a really good job illustrating it here.
Of course, they talked about Fucci's behavior in court today, and we're going to talk more about that later on in our newscast, as well as premeditation and a psychologist who gave his 2 cents worth about the case. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
I'll pick your brain in just a little bit.
Yes.
For now, we're live in St. Johns County at the courthouse. Jessica Clark, First Coast News. Back to you.
Jess, thank you. And our live team coverage of the penalty phase continues throughout the week. We do expect another day of hearings and testimony, with the sentence expected to be handed down by Friday.